Hi everybody, hope you're well. So this video is requested by Alexandra. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to get your horse into the rankings. This can be for genetics, for skills, for competitions, or even rosettes. So I'm not going to be telling you how to specifically do each of those things because I have other videos that cover that, but I'm going to talk to you about why horses get into the rankings and why horses don't get into the rankings. So if you go to the achievements and the best horses on the game, you can see the skills of all, the skills of purebreds, the genetic purebreds, genetic unicorns, and you can also click to see the horse's ranking victory. And you can look in there. And also further on down this page in itself, you've got rosettes and popularity. So basically, these different types of rankings cut off at a certain point. And what I mean by this is there comes a point where they no longer display anything. So you can click here and you can go down and you can see, and I'm not sure, I'm not going to click down and down and down until I get to the point where it stops ranking things. But there is a cutoff point. The reason for that is because if you go into the directories and we have a look, there's well over 1 million horses on the UK server alone and much more on bigger servers. So ranking all of them would be very, it would take up a lot of memory for horse. So basically it's easier to just have a point where it no longer ranks it once they're under a certain amount and displays it. And also it probably reduces the load time for you. So if we click on we're on skills for all at the minute, and we can actually pick one of our own horses to display the position of. So if I click here, I'm going to pick a filler that I have from 2011. Now you can see what I mean here. There's nothing to display, and I get the same for the elites, the stamina, speed, gallop, trot, and the same for competitions and popularity. So this horse is too low down the food chain in a way for anything to be displayed. So that's one of the things to bear in mind first, okay, is there will be horses that you will have that are too low to be displayed. But if I'm going to just click on purebred skills here, and I'm going to click on, let's see, knob stripper for this, okay. So if I click on this, now that I've sorted it by purebred skills and then I've sorted it by knob stripper breed, okay, so ranking skills for knob stripper breeds of purebred, okay. I can then go and select the horses that I have out of this. So I'm going to pick another one. And you can see that she is ranked. So we can see that she's 47th for overall skills in the game. She's 4th for stamina. She's 30th for speed and so forth. And she's had two page views from other players. So she ranks in the popularity. She doesn't rank for rosettes because she doesn't have any rosettes. And this is her here. And you can see that she was born really recently, okay, if you're watching this video when it was posted. And that's why she ranks, in part because she is new, and also she is high for her breed. So this is a top horse that I'm working with in this instant, and that's why she's displaying. So if you want to rank, there is a couple of things to bear in mind. You need to be working with horses that are high enough in genetics and in skills to be rated, okay, or they need to have a lot of rosettes. I mean, there are some horses on the game that if I just click on all and go down here for rosettes, some of these horses are actually quite old horses, but they just happen to get the most rosettes, so they've not moved. For example, this one here, this horse was born in 2014, but it still maintains having the largest collection of rosettes, so therefore it keeps its place, okay. So that's the rosette one, that can kind of stay for longer. It's a sort of ranking that usually takes longer to change than most. Popularity is very up and down. Any horse could end up on the popularity ranking, okay, so long as it got a sufficient number of views. But when it comes to the skills, when it comes to the genetic skills as well, you're in a different game because you're in the game of, as horse is as an entire game, it's pushing all the time to have better and better genetics. So there comes a point where your horse won't rate anymore because it's too far down the food chain in that respect. And I'm saying food chain because I want to kind of explain that you'll have the top horses and then you'll sort of have the ones around the middle, and then you'll have the lower end ones. Like all of my fillers, for example, would be like lower end ones. And then I have a small number of horses at the very top of that pyramid. That's why I'm sort of saying the food chain, because generally when you see a food chain diagram, it's usually a pyramid. So those top horses, there'll be a few of those, and those are the main ones that'll be ranked, and some of the middle ones will be too. But then when you start to get to that bottom part of horses, the majority of horses, then they're not going to be rated at all. I hope that kind of makes sense. I wanted to explain it in a visual way because I think that's sometimes easier for some people to understand. It's easier for me to understand. So that's why like horses that are for skills and genetics are going to be up there if they're the top ones. And this is like, for example, this one obviously is the elite because it is top horse in the game right now for the most skills. And generally, the horses with the most skills in the game are the top genetic horses as well. Okay, those two tend to go hand in hand because genetics affect your inborn skills and the skills that your horse can achieve. So the higher up those horses are, the better. So if you wanted to get a horse rated in genetics or in skills, you need to be producing some of the best horses. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best horses on the entire game. It could be the best Alcatikis, it could be the best Nakotas, it could be the best thoroughbreds, it could be the best genetic unicorns as well. So, and it may not even have to be the top ones, it could be one of the particular breeds, say like thoroughbred or gypsy vanner. So those are the more difficult ones I think to get into, would be the genetics and the skills, because they're a little bit more difficult. Now, one thing I will mention, you will notice, as I sort of mentioned earlier, skills of purebreds. The skills all includes crossbreds. So if you wanted to get a horse that you have that's maybe a bit middling and cross it with a top horse that you get in public sales, you could potentially actually get a crossbred into the overall skills there. Genetics are only ranked for purebred, and the same with unicorns because unicorns can only be purebred. And then for the victory ranking, this is about how many wins a horse has got. These people that do this, they spend a long time entering a lot of competitions. And you can see this horse isn't particularly skilled compared to the top horse that we looked at a minute ago, but it's got 8,000 wins. Now you can see this equally got a lot of losses as well. But if you want to get into the wins, the competition wins, you need to be entering your horse every single day, all the time, for a really long periods of time to build it up. But you could really do that with any horse if you were, perceptive enough into what competitions it was best at and so forth. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best horse in the game. So that's something to bear in mind there. Now, you might be wondering, okay, right, I've got this mare here that we looked at a minute ago, Sugar and Spice, and I'm going to foal her now. So we're going to take her to the vet, and we're going to have a new foal. Okay, so this is a filly foal that we've got here. Now, this foal has the potential to be ranked, but as we mentioned earlier, it will have to be, a reasonable genetic potential. And if it wasn't, then it wouldn't rate. Okay, so if we go to the best horses right now, if I go to genetics and purebred and I click on knobstrupper, you can see that filly that we just bred isn't there. Okay, and there's a reason she's not there. It's because she's newborn, she won't be displayed. Okay, so I know that she's a higher genetic potential than this mare here. Okay, so if we have a look at Sugar and Spice again, she's 2, 9, 10, 97. Okay, this foal is 2, 9, 13, 75. Okay, but she's not being displayed here, even though she's higher than all of these. And that's because you have to wait for the daily update, okay, which takes place every night. So if you have a newborn foal that hasn't ranked yet, or if you've skilled a horse and if you know it's the best horse, or it should be 13th or 30th and it's not up yet, it's because you need to wait for the daily update for it to update the ranking. So I hope this explanation of rankings has kind of helped a little bit. If anybody knows exactly what the cutoff point is, I would appreciate that, but I didn't want to have to sit here and click and click and click. I know that it's probably pretty far down because I think I've gone to 1,000 before, like a long time ago, but we don't know if that's changed or not. But thank you to Alexandra for requesting the video. I hope you have a lovely day.